Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Weatherall, the Chief Executive Officer for the City of Greater Dandenong. I just want to read out Council's governance rules before the meeting starts. Council meetings, making them a safe place for everyone. During the council meeting, members of the public cannot address the meeting outside of public question time, must not interject or act offensively, must remain seated, must switch mobile phones to mute, must not operate any recording device, audio or visual, without obtaining the consent of the Chief Executive Officer at least 3 days prior to the council meeting, and can display placards or posters provided they're not offensive, do not obstruct the entrances and exits to the chamber or impede any view or person. The Chair can direct any member of the public to stop interjecting or acting offensively. If that behaviour continues, the Chair can ask an authorised officer or a member of Victoria Police to remove members of the public from the chamber. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Our ordinary council meeting, Monday, 13th of October. Item 1.1, opening of meeting. 1.2, attendance. Ms. Weatherall.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. We have 3 apologies this evening. Councillor Jim Mametti is unavailable, Councillor Lana Formoso and Councillor Melinda Yim.
Thank you, Ms. Weatherall. Item 1.3, acknowledgement of traditional custodians of land. Those who wish to stand for acknowledgement to country are welcome to do so. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Bunurong people, and pay respect to their elders, past and present. We recognise and respect their continuing connections to climate, culture, country, and waters. We also pay our respect and acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and their elders present here today in acknowledging their journey. Item 1.4, offering a prayer, reflection, or affirmation. As part of Council commitments, recognising the cultural and spiritual diversity of our community, the prayer, reflection, or affirmation this evening will be offered by Lillian Polk, the member of the Greater Dandenong Interfaith Network. Welcome, Lillian.
Thank you. I'm reading a novel set in England during the Regency period, and it's in this particular period the critical marriage market for the upper classes, with social events like balls, assemblies, concerts, pleasure gardens and dinners providing opportunities for families to arrange suitable marriages for their daughters. It's the prime time for the elite families to bring their daughters, to London to introduce them to eligible young men and secure advantageous marriages. Now, in this era, there are classes. There are servants who do all the work, preparing and serving everything, the meals, making sure the fires in the rooms are lit, escorting single ladies for their walks, cleaning the household. And in the household, the servants have their own rank. Can you picture that with me? In the novel, a servant girl receives a substantial inheritance and so decides to invest in herself to become one of the upper class, in readiness for the marriage market season. She changes her name by deed poll, and while she invests time and money in learning how to speak like the elite, she makes a great wardrobe for herself. She studies the newspapers and the magazines. They didn't have the internet, to discover who's who in society. The real servant girl never leaves her. She'd be at a party, and after a few gins, and her language goes back to the coarse servant girl. As a Christian woman, when I think of a servant, I can't help but think of Jesus Christ, who was God and yet came to our planet as a helpless baby. in the account of Jesus' life, we see him serving with his words and his deeds. Washing the disciples' feet, making sure the thousands were fed who came to hear him, teaching, and counselling, healing both physically and mentally, praying for others, and ultimately sacrificing his life on the cross for our redemption. We meet here this evening. There's no class of people, for I sense that each of us, in one way or another, is a servant. For we wish to benefit our community. We have opportunities to serve. Oh, may we not tire of serving. May we not tire of working for the benefit of others. May the servant heart that is in us never leave us. May we never think of ourselves as elite, as better than others. May our servant heart and mind always be evident in all we say and do. I would like to pray a prayer from my Christian perspective, and I invite you to translate that into your own faith while I pray. Dear Heavenly Father, there is much we thank you for this season, for this day, for life, for freedom, for this community, for the opportunity to use our varying abilities, our intellect, our collectiveness in this governing meeting. We thank you for it all. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. As we come together to advance the affairs set out before this council, may we have ears to listen to each other, minds to comprehend all proposals and discussions, discernment to weigh up possibilities, and wisdom to make correct decisions for the ultimate benefit of our community, those we serve. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Lillian. Okay, item 1.5, confirmations of minutes of previous meeting. Is there a mover to this item, please? Councillor Garrett, moved by Councillor Garrett.
Councillor O'Reilly.
Seconded by Councillor O'Reilly. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 1.6, disclosures of interest. Ms. Vettel.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I haven't had any disclosures of interest provided to me for this evening's meeting.
Thank you. Item 2, Officers' Reports, Part 1, 2.1. Documents of sealing, 2.1.1, document for sealings. Is there a mover to this item? Councillor Garrett. Seconded by Councillor Trung. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 2.2, petitions and joint letters. 2.2.1, petitions and joint letters. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Garrett. Is there a seconder? Councillor Dan, seconded. Are there any questions? No question. Is there any opposition? There's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 3, public question time. Question time at council meetings provide an opportunity for members of the public in the gallery to address questions to the councillors, delegate, and or officer of the City of Greater Dandenong Council. Questions must comply with S.4.5.8 of the Council's governing rules. Ms. Vettel.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Our first question this evening is from Maria Sampi of Keysborough, and I don't believe she is here this evening, so I'll read it out for her. It concerns expenses, financials and annual report of the Dandenong Market Proprietary Limited. And there's 3 questions. I'll read all 3 and then have it answered. In the financial year 23-24, the council budget shows that the Dandenong Market Proprietary Limited had $6,886,000 of revenue and had expenses of $6,736,000. What is the breakdown of the $6,736,000 of expenses, as it's extremely high for expenses? Her second question, in recent years, why is the council only receiving between $129,000 and $150,000 from the Dandenong Market when the Dandenong Market Proprietary Limited has over $6 million of revenue each year? This is a poor return for the ratepayers when the council used to receive $1 million per year prior to 2020 when I was on council. And lastly, where can the annual report of the Dandenong Market Proprietary Limited, a public-owned entity, be found online? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for your question. So for your question 1, a further breakdown of Dandenong Market's financial results for this period is available in the note 6.3 of the 2023-2024 Dandenong Council's annual report as part of the consolidated financial statement. This can be found on council website. For your question number 2, the vibrant Dandenong market provides valuable social and economic input into our community. Due to the impact of pandemic in 2020, the recent cost of living crisis, and the cost of aging infrastructure renewal, Council is closely working with the Market Board on return to Council. For your question number 3, Dandenong Market Private Limited financial results are available in the Dandenong Council's annual report as part of the consolidated financial statement. This can be found on the Council website. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manavasagasavam.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And our next question is from Pam Naylor of Noble Park. And again, she's got 3 elements to her questions. And it concerns state government legislation on tree protection and its impact on local laws. I've heard that the state government has announced new statewide tree protection legislation for trees on private land. How does this impact Greater Dandenong's tree protection local law? B, in what ways is the new state tree protection regulations different to the Greater Dandenong Council's local law? How are they stronger and how are they weaker? And C, who's going to be enforcing this new local law? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. The new planning control just released by the state government requires a planning permit to remove trees of a certain size and the location on sites. Council officers are currently going to reviewing the new state planning reform at its impacts on the council local law. Any applications for a planning permit for a tree removal as a result of this new planning provision will be subject to assessment by the council's stat planning team. Once we go through the review, we could understand further on the impact on the local laws.
Thank you. Next question, Ms. Bradle.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Our next question is from Gay Guest of Keysborough, and it concerns the budget for infrastructure upgrade at Noble Park Aquatic Centre. Noble Park Aquatic Centre, NPAC the pool, is 13.5 years old. It opened in March 2012. And internal infrastructure has not stood up to the test of time for several years now, namely the door mechanism on the family dressing rooms, and now the showers are fatigued and one has been locked for several months. Given the pool was out of action for a good 6 months when the tiles fell off around 2016 and the facility on light duties during COVID, the stress of public use daily has taken its toll. School carnivals and summer are starting again, and patrons overall do not respect the public facilities provided because they have no knowledge or respect on how to operate these doors. And through rough, inconsiderate use, these facilities are fatigued, causing them to break down whilst being super costly to replace or fix every time. And the wait time for repairs proves inconvenient, especially in peak season. When will real money be spent to replace these doors and showers, not just on Band-Aid repairs that break as soon as there's a repair, Money must be set aside now for upgrades to the NPAC pool before it deteriorates any further and doesn't become another oasis. It appears a decade for our public facilities is about the time the budgets need to cover a replacement, not Band-Aid treatments. Can I ask Mr. Forster, who's Acting Executive Director, Community Strengthening, to respond?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for your question, Gay. The City of Greater Dandenong is committed to providing fit-for-purpose sport and recreation and leisure facilities for access by our community. Council demonstrates this commitment with $100 million being committed for the construction of the state-of-the-art Dandenong Wellbeing Centre, due to open in 2027. Over the last 18 months, council officers have been working directly with South East Leisure to replace all accessible doors at NPAC with accessible automatic access systems, with the project being completed recently. There is one door system that is proving to be difficult at the moment, however, and officers are working with the contractor to rectify this situation as soon as possible. Council continues to be committed to the maintenance of all our leisure facilities, and if our community becomes aware of issues with the facilities, we encourage them to please report these directly to South East Leisure so that they can be rectified as soon as practical. Finally, it is our understanding that all the showers at NPAC are currently fully operational and accessible.
Thank you. Ms. Verrill, do you have any
Thank you,
other
Deputy
questions?
Mayor. We're up to the last question now, and it's from Gay Guest of Keysborough, and it concerns 404 to 406 Springvale Road construction. Has recommenced building after sitting idle for many long years where the exposed frames have been weathered. The block sold in 2010. By January 2019, it was a bladed block with construction started in September 2019. And in December 2021, the framing walls were up. It has basically sat idle ever since being under scrutiny of a dreaded building consultant, we were told when we asked several years ago. What intervention inspection has Council had on this site to make sure the framework is structurally sound, given this permit would have expired many times since maybe 2017, 2018, 2019? The company, ABP Consultants, was wound up in September 2019. Notice is given that at a general meeting of the members of the company held on the 29th of September 29, it was resolved that the company be wound up. Who is responsible now to complete the build, and when was a new permit granted? Can I ask Mr. Manavasa Gasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. The site on Springvale Road is owned by a private developer and is subject to a building approval through a private building surveyor. Council's building team is aware of the site and it is reviewing the conformity of the with the approved building permit. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Verrill, do you have any questions taken on notice from the last council meeting?
Yes, we do, Madam Deputy Mayor, and I have them here for you.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to item 4, Officers' Reports, Part 2, 4.1, Policies and Strategy, 4.1.1, Road Management Plan. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garrett, seconder, Councillor Dole. Are there any questions? Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My question relates to potholes that are referenced in the plan. The triggers for intervention are included in the plan with a 10 working day response time. My question is that largely similar to benchmarks against similar councils? And the other question is, how well have we been doing and how are we actually monitoring?
Thank you, Mr. Manifa Gasasavam.
Yes, through you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for your question. So, yes, we have benchmarked ourselves with the neighbouring councils and also similar councils to look at the timing. The 10 days is a reasonable time frame. And how we are managing that is through our merit system when we log in a system and then when the contractors finish. So that's how we look at the time frames and see how well we are performing. But we don't have a full system to analyze the overall year of our performance. So that's one of the things we are working at the moment to get a report on how well we are performing on those things. But mostly 90% of our works, we'll finish that within our 10 days working days time block.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? No? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.1.2, Greater Dandenong City Council Annual Report 2024 to 25. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garrett, seconded by Councillor Dole. Are there any questions? Yes, Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My question, actually, firstly, I just wanted to congratulate the staff. There's a huge amount of work has gone into putting all of this together, and I congratulate many of the staff are here tonight that have been responsible for that. Particularly want to compliment the comms team or the design team for the really wonderful graphics that are in this report, which makes it very accessible for a multilingual community. So my question is about accessibility, and just do we have a way to translate this for our various communities? Because it's such an important report, what is our mechanism for disseminating this to our residents who speak a language other?
Thank you, Ms. Hajari.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Garrett. Thank you for acknowledging the huge work, because it's all organisation efforts, and we are really glad and proud to be able to report back to our community. About this specific report, it hasn't been translated. However, we always work with the committee and with our committee groups to make sure that they have access to an annual report through their links or through the hard copies, to make sure if there is, of course, the summaries that they can translate into the different languages, but also I can assure you that we are continuously looking at one of our priorities for this year to look at how we can really make, in terms of the different languages, make it more accessible for our committee groups. If there are any particular reports, such as annual reports, or at least the important parts that we want to make sure that we have been very successful in our engagement processes, like the council plan, that we have so many languages, and we even use the capabilities that in our multilingual staff that we have. Some of our promotion about the engagement was in different language that our staff promoted, which was not just translating, or also bringing the trust to our committee, which has been very successful. And the result was that we have a huge engagement. In terms of our reports, of course, having AI, and hopefully we working on that to help us with like the trustworthy translation, is one of the ways that we are working closely with our digital technology and the options that it give us to make sure we can really facilitate that, and we are very optimistic, but it's of course one of our main priorities.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Other questions? No. Is there any opposition? No. I just want to read the report as well. It's an honour to present the 2024-25 Greater Dandenong City Council Annual Report. This report outlines our many accomplishments of the past financial year. In 2024-25, we delivered progress on some of our key projects, strengthened our commitments to providing high-quality services, and laid a strong foundation for the future of our city. We work with the community to develop and endorse a new council plan, which has a strong focus on community outcomes and impacts. A key achievement from last financial year was our increased community satisfaction score, which rose to 7.5 out of 10. This was the highest result across metropolitan Melbourne and the equal highest result ever recorded by our survey company. These results reflect a very strong level of community satisfaction with the performance of the Greater Dandenong City Council. Our 60 million investment in infrastructure has seen significant improvements in community facility, recreation spaces, roads, and footpaths. The community are already enjoying the benefits of this investment, with Keysborough Community Hub now open, and works on Dandenong Wellbeing Centre now well underway. In addition, our strategic advocacy work saw a result, with the federal government committing to funding for a range of sports, business, and safety projects. Other highlights for the 2024-25 year include having over 69,000 people engaged through festival and events, more than 820,000 visitors welcome to our libraries, and an impressive 82% reduction to council emissions. All of this has been achieved while maintaining a responsible financial position, with a surplus operating result of 30.9 million. I would like to thank my fellow councillors, our CEO Jackie Wetherill, and our council staff for their hard work, dedication and ongoing commitment to the City of Greater Dandenong. I encourage our community to read more about our achievements in an annual report, which will be available on council website starting from tomorrow. Thank you. So if there's no opposition to this item, the item is carried. Item 4.1.3, review of council policy abolition. Based on the officer recommendations, there's three part here. So one for asset management policy, attachment 1, parking fees management policy, attachment 2, and guarantee of community loans policy, attachment 3. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garrett. Is there a seconder?
Councillor O'Reilly.
Councillor O'Reilly, thank you. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.2, other. 4.2.1, Noble Park Community Centre, DDA facilities. Is there a mover? Councillor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the motion as it appears in the agenda.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor O'Reilly. Seconder? Is there a seconder? Yeah. So we're going to move seconded and then we'll go to the alternate. And we heard from AC.
So I believe that it's an alternate.
Yeah, so we call for the mover already, seconder, and I'll get you to read your amendment. Is that okay? Yeah. All right.
Point of order, Chair. I've moved. I was first to my feet and attracted the attention of the Chair, and I've moved the motion as it appears in the agenda. My understanding is that motion has to be decided before any alternate is. Chair?
Yes, it needs to be put.
That's why we're going to move and second it. So I need a seconder.
Second that.
Yeah, second by Councillor Dan. Yeah. There any questions? You can ask question.
Okay. Sorry, can I move my alternate or not? No. Okay.
You can ask questions.
If you, yeah. So we have to debate this one.
Correct. You can oppose it if you want to regional, but you can ask questions. Any questions?
Okay. Sorry, just to clarify, because my understanding was that my alternate was just to say that I am moving number 1 and number 3 as the motion. Can you just clarify that?
Okay, so we're just working on the original item at the moment. So Sean's already moved it, seconded it. You can have your question or you can oppose to it. And we can call for opposition. You can oppose to that and then make the amendment. Yeah, so if the mover is Councillor O'Reilly, Sean O'Reilly, seconded Councillor Philip Dan, any questions? So you can ask your question first. And is there any opposition? Councillor Garrett, question?
Can I ask a question of the relevant officer, just in terms of the continuity of the 3 projects? Is it a requirement? Are there efficiencies for these 3 separate works to be done concurrently? Would it cost more if we were to do only 2 parts and not the 3rd? Are there cost advantages? Thank you.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, thank you for your question. Just to clarify, it's only 2 projects. One is the all abilities toilet development, and also the second is the kitchenette. And so it's only 2 projects. We are sort of just there, and also they are independent of those projects. One in building 1 and the other one is building 2. So this will be done by 2 different contractors because of the scale of the works and also the specific nature of those works. But this is combined, so that's mean we can get that council resolution and then we can move on to the next stage of procurement process. But they are independent of each other.
There's no advantage. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? That's it? Is it? Yes, Councillor Dahl?
Yeah, thank you. So my question is, was the kitchenette upgrade part of the original scope when the budget was set?
So this project started as a norm last year, and also council did a lot of investigations and also worked closely with the Noble Park Community Committee, and then part of that is this request came in, and also we had a look at the kitchenette, and also because they provided more all abilities program in that area, and that's why we looked at and assessed that one. One of them is around 57 all abilities gardening program is one of them. They provide that in that facility, so which required, and council officers assess that, and then that's why we are recommending the kitchenette program.
That's it.
Just one more question, and to clarify, we're not using the same contractor, so it is a separate contractor, and by that case, a different scope. And so from that end, there's no, could you just clarify that there's no potential cost efficiencies from that because of the fact that they are different contractors?
Through you, Mayor, yes, you are correct. And we will use 2 different contractors because constructing all abilities toilet, it's one builder. And also when we're working on a kitchenette, that will be a different trade. So yes, we will have 2 independent contractors working on that.
And the reason why we do have the separate contractors because they are 2 very distinctly different projects, correct? So, yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Any other further questions? No? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Councillor Garrett?
No, I believe I attracted the Mayor's attention first, Councillor. I just want to say that I think this is actually a very important motion. Even though it is a lot of money, we acknowledge it is a lot of money. We also acknowledge that the building is ageing. These bathroom facilities are not compliant. They are not compliant. And that's a really important part of this story. Also, as our annual report just showed, around 7% of our residents do have a disability. As a mother with a child with a disability, I know that even knowing that there are not standard toilets available can inhibit people with a disability from going out. So I think this is a really important project, and I think it's really important that we do back this, and I think that the centre itself is growing and growing and growing, and these facilities will be really, really important.
Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Any other? Yes, Councillor O'Reilly.
Thank you, Chair. Well, this the successful passing of this resolution brings to an end an issue that was first raised to councillors, I think, several years ago regarding the disabled toilet in that building. I think any councillor that's seen that toilet has seen that it's just like a regular toilet, right? But someone put a disabled sign on it. And a disabled sign does not a disabled toilet make, particularly for anybody that was disabled that tried to use it. Now, Noble Park Community Centre has continued to grow in its activity and effectiveness in the community, and has strong and vocal leadership that is engaged with council laws and council more broadly over a long time to work through the issues of the toilet, and thankfully there was money that was already allocated that we could spend on the kitchenette as well. So I think it's we're doing a good thing for our disabled community in showing that we believe they are important, that we're not going to stand for just a disabled sign. We are going to put in a proper DDA compliant toilet in there, and at the same time upgrade the kitchenette so that it is compliant. So, I thank councillors for their support on this motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Raleigh. Okay, well done. We'll go to item 4.2.2. Community engagement submissions proposed sale of 275 Lonsdale Street, Dandenong. Is there a mover to this item, please?
Happy to move it.
Councillor Milkovich, moved by Councillor Milkovich. Is there a seconder?
Councillor O'Reilly.
Councillor Raleigh, seconded. Are there any questions? Councillor Garrett?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I ask the relevant officer, how much money overall has the council spent on the concept plan and other aspects of the proposed development of this lane? And therefore, will we, by selling this, absorb quite a large loss in terms of our purchase price plus all of the development funds we've put into this?
Ms. Hachari? Oh, Mr.
Yes, yes. Through you, Deputy Mayor. So I don't have the exact figures on the development that's happened a few years back, but with my experience, at the nature of that works normally costs around $5,000 to sort of $10,000 when you work through these concept design process. So even if it is a $20,000, that can be absorbed, but also those informations don't get lost, and that can be used in the future as well.
Just a correction, I believe the figure was much, much higher. I'm happy to take that on notice, but it was, I think it was around $600,000 in total. But that was before you.
Any other questions? No? Is there any opposition? There's no opposition? Okay, the mover, you've got 5 minutes. Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We bought this asset with a good intention quite a few years ago through council. Council approved the purchase of this particular plot of land on Lonsdale Street with the idea that it's going to connect Lonsdale Street with Thomas Street. However, due to the ever-raising issues with the neighbouring properties and owners of the neighbouring properties, the council seemed to be not in a position to move forward with any kind of plan, not even with the demolition of the property. So it's been sitting idle at the cost to council at, a couple of $1,000s a year, I would say, at least in rates and whatnot. And on top of the purchase price of $1,050,000 is what I believe we paid for that. Now we're facing a situation where we're still no closer to actually providing public or providing our residents with a connection between Thomas Street and Lonsdale Street, and the property is sitting idle, costing us money with no real direction as what we should do with it. So the only natural thing is when you've got an asset that doesn't actually provide you with any income or doesn't serve any purpose or any use to the residents of this municipality, is to offload the asset, I would say. And we've got a number of other very important, vital projects that this money can be put towards and put to good use, where these projects can be completed in a timely and cost-effective time frame. So I can't see a reason for opposing this, but I'm happy to hear Councillor Garrett. Like I said, I think we need to move on with it. We're not in a position to do anything due to a number of reasons, and it's costing us money so far. And I think a couple of evaluations, will probably prove that, we're not making any money on this project at all. And on top of the holding cost and designs that we've employed the contractors to do, it's time to just let it go and redirect the funds towards projects that are already in pipeline, that already have started, that we should probably work to deliver on time and within the budget. So that is the reason why I am supporting this item. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Seconder, Councillor Raleigh. You've got 4 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I think Councillor Milkovich has gone through the detail, but if I can just say broadly, Chair, that the financial environment was different when Council made the decision to buy this property, and looking at the full plate of capital works that we have going on now and coming up, I don't see feasibly how council could do this as well. So it is absolutely reasonable for a council, when financial circumstances change, to divest properties. As we do buy properties when the circumstances are right, so we should divest and sell properties when there's good reason to do so. And all the reasons are outlined in the report, Chair. I mean, we wouldn't want this council to just say, let's keep spending, buying, and rack up the sorts of levels of debt that we see in state and federal governments. And you know, residents and ratepayers having to pay off interest just so we can hold on to an asset that we're not really going to do much with just for the sake of holding on to it. So I think it's a prudent decision of council to divest this particular asset and focus on the large number of capital projects that we already have on our plate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Riley. First opposition, Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The sale of this property will be extremely short-sighted. And I agree with both councillors that leaving this idle is not an option. We don't want to leave this idle. We want to develop this. We have put a lot of money and time into an extensive concept plan, which is a beautiful plan. Many people have contributed to that over the years. And it is extremely short-sighted in that we are about to embark on one of the largest developments in Thomas Street that Dandenong has ever seen. There'll be close to 700 dwellings right behind this cross-through, and a large commercial precinct and a large entertainment precinct. We are also currently developing our plans around the Dandenong market, where we will also likely have a large area of residential development, and we also want to the flow of resident traffic through into Lonsdale Street down into the market. That is the natural flow of the population living on Thomas Street, and this is their only access through into Lonsdale Street. So from a commercial perspective, it is extremely short-sighted that we should sell this. And we have many objections which point to really important issues such as improvement in pedestrian flow, such as giving better access to Lonsdale Street. We know that Lonsdale Street has been struggling for a very long time. And to cut off the main access to Lonsdale Street, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make strategic sense. It doesn't make commercial sense. It doesn't make financial sense. We won't get a lot of money for this laneway because of the fire, because it has been damaged to some extent. We have invested a lot of money. We know that this is vital to bringing together our two biggest commercial arms that will be in the City of Greater Dandenong, which is the market and the Capital Alliance development. It is absolutely absurd that we are going for what we will get, which is probably just over $1 million. It's absurd that we would sell this. If we don't, at this moment, have the money to develop this vital access way, why don't we think outside the square? Why don't we looking at some partnerships with some of the commercial developers who are actually part of these objectives, who I'm sure would love to look at some options around helping finance this project. Even some looking at, some of the surrounding developments there and some of the financial and commercial opportunities for there. So I urge people to rethink this. This is so short-sighted. Right now it's hard to see, but Capital Alliance is starting next month, 700 dwellings, large entertainment and commercial precinct. Market, we are going to expand that market to be one of the best markets in the Southern Hemisphere. Why on earth would we cut off the main conduit between those two? So I urge my councillors to push back on this.
Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Any other speakers from against or in favour? No? Okay, right after reply, Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I do understand where Councillor Garrett's coming from, and I do understand her excitement in providing us with the access point. However, we're not providing the access point. We've got an idle property that is sitting dormant that we have not even been able to demolish in, I think, 4 to 5 years' time, due to the neighbouring property owners complaining about the structural issues and so on and so forth. So I think while we need to improve the locality, I think we also need to realise that when the project is completely off track, we need to just cut our losses and we need to move on with something else. I mean, every single time we push on with a project that is either dubious or there's an issue with it, it ends up costing ratepayers millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars. And no better example is the $1 purchase of Feb building that cost us in excess of $2 million to demolish. I mean, this is the prime example where we thought we've hit the jackpot, yeah? Buy it for $1 from the state government. I mean, you believe the state government, you got a problem in itself. But anyway, so we were led to believe that it's the greatest thing on earth. Cost us over $2 million just to demolish. So this particular project, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to go about it, unfortunately, as bad as it sounds as a council. And we just need to let it go to a private developer who knows what to do, who's got an idea with it, and then move on with it. It's just costing us too much time and money at this point in time, and we need to move on from it before it costs us even more. So that's why I'm urging my fellow councillors to proceed with this particular item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Now we're going to go for the vote. So all of those in favour, raise your hand, please. Councillor Dan, Councillor Tan, Councillor O'Reilly, Councillor Lay, Councillor Trung, Councillor Milkovich, and Councillor Dole. Those against, raise your hand. Councillor Garrett. For that. 7-1. Item is carried. Item 4.2.3. S6 Instrument of Delegation by Council to members of Council staff, and S18 Instrument of Sub-Delegation under the Environment Protection Act 2017. Just to let you know, there's two parts to this one. So we need to move the Officer Recommendation 1 and then Officer Recommendation 2. So Officer Recommendation 1 is about the S6 Instrument of Delegation by Council to members of the Council staff. Is there any mover? Yeah, Councillor Garrett. Any seconder, please? Councillor Dan, are there any questions? No. Is there any opposition? No. There's no opposition. The item for Part 1 is carried. Part 2 is Officer Recommendation 2, so the S18, Instrument of the Sub-Delegation under the Environment Act Protection Act 2017. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Garrett, moved by Councillor Garrett. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Dan, the seconded. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there's no opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.2.4, Multicultural and People Seeking Asylum Advisory Committee, MAPSAAC, so minutes, the 19th of August 2025. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Garrett. Seconder, Councillor Trung. Are there any questions? No. Is there any opposition? No opposition. The item is carried. Item 4.2.5, LGBTIQA plus Advisory Committee minutes. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Garrett. Seconded by Councillor Dole. Are there any questions? No. Is there any opposition? No opposition. The item is carried. Item 4.2.6, draft minutes of advisory committee meetings. So officer recommendations, so the council notes, so draft minutes of the meeting for Springvale Community Hub committees held on the 30th April 2025 per attachment 1. 2, draft minutes of the meeting for Positive Aging Advisory Committee held on the 14th of August 2025 as per attachment 2. 3. Draft minutes of the meeting for Disability Advisory Committee held on the 18th of August 2025 per attachment 3. And 4. Draft minutes of the meeting for Arts Advisory Board held on the 21st August 2025 as per attachment 4. Is there a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Garrard, seconder, Councillor O'Reilly. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? No opposition, the item is carried. Item 4.2.7, list of registered correspondence to mayor and councillors. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Trung. Is there a seconder? Councillor Garrard. Are there any questions? No question. Is there any opposition? No opposition, the item is carried. Item 5, notice of motion. We don't have any notice of motion tonight, so go to item 6, reports from councillors, delegate members and councillor questions. I'll start with Councillor Dole, please. Councillor report. Councillor Dole.
Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to thank my residents, my fellow councillors, council officers and executives, as well as my friends and family for their support whilst I dealt with and am currently dealing with an eye injury. I am just truly grateful for all your care and support during this time. To our relatively new LGBTQI plus committee, it's not easy to work and get support and fight to ensure that every person, regardless of their background, is accepted at our public-facing public-facing council buildings. So very excited to hear that we'll have our rainbow stickers installed at our Duke Keysborough hub, as well with our other hubs and libraries and our galleries and theatres. I'd also like to acknowledge that the Planning Minister has fast-tracked a permit on Chapel Road, which is significantly larger in scope than the 2022 permit application, which was objected by Council. My understanding is that we've only just been made aware of this fast-track permit, and Council will be reviewing how it may impact vacant sites at 176 and 198 Chapel Road and the residents as well. I'd also like to thank everyone who's reached out to me regarding the Lost Dog Home and Council's contract with them. I truly do appreciate your concern and engagement. Like many others who have heard of Murphy's tragic story, my heart breaks for every dog and cat that has to be euthanized. And I believe this reflects a broader, more complex challenge that doesn't really have an easy solution. I will note that we recently closed our public consultation on our domestic animal management plan, and I look forward to reviewing the draft DAB this month to see how we can better respond to these concerns and improve outcomes for animals in our community. I'd also like to thank one of my residents who made me aware of the state government's new amendment, or clause 52.37, late in September. This change was introduced by the state government on the 15th of September and is now in operation. I would like to ask Sanjay a few questions regarding this, and I know that it was touched on with the public questions, so I'll just rattle off the questions I have. And I know that some of these questions was answered. Does the clause expand or reduce the number of regulated trees in our area? Does the clause strengthen or weaken tree protection? How will authorities balance development, canopy cover and housing targets? Will this lead to stronger enforcement regarding council action? And how do the new replacement canopy tree rules compare to our current local laws? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dole. Ms. Unifakasa.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question. So the clause 5237, the expands regulations into more trees needs permit. So the council officers will have to consider clause 5237 if a planning permit is required. If it is determined a planning permit is not required, then the council tree removal on private land local law must be checked and may require a local law permit instead. And this section is actually strengthened the protection and applies uniformly across residential zones in Victoria. The clause requires permits even when no development is proposed, example on vacant lots as well. The clause introduced minimum replacement requirements for canopy trees when it's removed. And also as part of that is it gives us more strength into enforcement action as well, because we can prosecute tree removal under the Planning Act as well. So that gives a bit more enforcement action. Hope that answers that questions.
Thank you. Any further question, Councillor Dell?
No further questions. Thank you.
Councillor Milkovich. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just one question to the officers tonight. Ever since we've upgraded Brady Road with the speed calming devices, I've had quite a few calls from the residents in surrounding streets, particularly between Gladstone Road and Lock Road, which is Shalimar Crescent, Victor Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 1st Avenue and 3rd Avenue, where people are using it as a shortcut. Are we able to maybe undertake a survey or something to see if there is indeed increased, levels of speeding throughout those streets and people trying to avoid speed humps and running across? I know there was an accident the other day where a car took a corner just a bit too quickly from Shalimar Crescent to 3rd Avenue and ended up in a fence and almost ended up in a house. So if we could please maybe look at relevant options that we can employ there to see whether we can slow people down and stop them from using these as a sort of, rat race shortcuts in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Menefes-Gaskam.
Thank you, Councillor. So I'm happy to get the transport team to investigate, and then they can do some traffic assessment along those areas. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chong.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Last fortnight, I worked very hard to work with Samvec to organize the Lantern Festival for the children Day every year. This time, they fund the Samvec fund by themselves. They don't get any fund from other government or like a federal, state or local government as well. And I hope that next year we can get some fund from council to support us to do it. The event is a very, very good event, and if on event days, I attend with the mayor, deputy mayor, and all the councillors, and also some MP as well, federal MP and state MP. And that's very good. But the weather at around 5 o'clock and afterward is not really good. But at least we can complete the event before the weather comes worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Lale?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. From the last 4 weeks, I go with the event around in Springvale and Kiburo. The first of all is I just go to the closest day first. On 11, last Saturday, October, I go to the fundraising night in Massim in Springvale for the fundraising for the build up the temple. Number 2 is I go with some councillor, Sean and Sophia and Mayor Jim Memeti and Philip Dance and Salvador for the MIV for the dinner gala in Park Hyatt in Melbourne. Number 3 event is I attend in Sapa, Springvale Asian Business Association for a World Night presentation for the local business around there. Event 4, I attend into Samvec Children Lantern Festival. They organize by themselves with the funding by themselves. So actually they do is really good. Even the weather is in the end of the event is a little bit shower. Event 5 is Lantern Moon Festival in Chinese Cambodian Friendship Association. At that time, I met the space represent for mayor as well. That event is Lantern Festival from Cambodian Chinese. It's really good as well. Event 6, I go to UC HAP in Springvale. That's the organization just 2 years old, but I see the report. They have around resident local there about over 1,000 cases, and they asked me support for looking for the new office because that's office in the top of level 1. So they would like to looking for somewhere to new office for them for service is resident around there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lay. Councillor Raleigh.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended a few events, but I won't go through them. I'll just talk about Municipal Association of Victoria Council last Friday. So Municipal Association of Victoria is the peak body of Victorian councils. Last Friday we got together and resolved upon a number of motions to advocate to other levels of government about, and the one that Greater Dandenong proposed and was supported by the MAV Council was the motion where we proposed that poker machines be reduced more in areas of higher harm, lower socio-economic communities such as Greater Dandenong, but across Victoria, and this was supported by the MAV Council. So in addition, Deputy Mayor, just would like to read out 3 numbers. There's not 79 local governments in Victoria. The MAV has 16 award categories for MAV Lab, and Greater Dandenong won 2 out of 16 MAV Lab awards, which is quite remarkable and highly disproportionate level of success that we have, that the council has achieved. Deputy Mayor, so I'd like to present the 2 certificates to you. The awards are for the MAV, the Wellbeing Award for Community Health Impacts, and our project was the Filtered Body Image Project. The second award was the Connector Award for Community Inclusion and Cohesion. There's no wonder, given that that's in our DNA. And the project that won that, was a finalist, was Proud to Be. So I just correct it. We may not have won the 2 awards, but we're right up there. But highly disproportionate level of success. So present those to yourself, Deputy Mayor, on behalf of the council, and that is all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Raleigh, and congratulations to the City of Greater Dandenong, and thank you to all the hard work that our staff done for this award. Thank you. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I attended 2 very important events. The first was Friday community prayer out here in Harmony Square in support of Palestine, organised by Aid Without Borders, in which the Palestine flag was flown, and a large number of people attended, very diverse crowd of people, showing how after 2 years the residents of Dandenong are still very committed and supportive of Palestine. And whilst a ceasefire is very welcome, it is also extremely welcome that hostages are going to be exchanged over the next few days, and that they get to return to their families, or I believe there are around 20 that are still alive that are returning to Israel, and up to 1,000 will be returned. As we know that our community is very connected to Palestine, and all of these events hit very close to home. I also attended the Hazara Genocide Memorial Day, which was an extremely well attended event. In fact, it was standing room only, and it was instructive to observe how they are keeping the original genocide, keeping that knowledge within community, and also sharing the knowledge about the current and continuous genocide against the Hazara people happening right now back in their country. It's very important that we keep these memories alive, that we keep the knowledge within community, that they share that knowledge with people outside the community, such as myself, because if we forget, then we repeat. And we also don't, we are not as empathetic as we should be. So it's really important these events occur in our community, that there are very open and honest conversations, and it was a great privilege to be there. I have one question tonight, the relevant officer. It's regarding the now closed St John of God Hospital in Heatherton Road. Do we have any information on what is, whether it's being demolished soon? I've had multiple residents complain about fires, about people living in there, unsafe rats. It's really getting to a very serious stage. Do we have any?
I don't have any further updates. The last update we have is the property owner is looking to demolish, but their time frame we haven't able to establish with them. But they are keen to demolish that property, but they haven't given us. But still, our building surveyors are closely working with them to understand the time frame. Soon as we know, I'm happy to update the time frame on the demolitions.
Okay, thank you for that. Finally, I'd just like to acknowledge that we have the chair of our newly formed queer committee here. I'd like to acknowledge his presence and thank him for being here. And the action plan for the committee is underway, and the committee, although young, is really expanding, and there's a great deal of energy and excitement. So I'd like to welcome Brad here tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Councillor Dan.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I was really pleased and proud to see that Noble Park was recently awarded, Council was also recently awarded as having the best Main Street activation, not just in Melbourne or Victoria, but Australia as well. As a lifelong resident, it's particularly difficult to try and articulate to those who aren't from the area how much of an improvement Main Street Noble Park has gone through in recent years, and the proof really is the pudding. We've have more open space than ever before. We have more businesses operating. We have great links to local parks at Ross Reserve. We've recently had a night market successfully operate just adjacent to Main Street on Frank Street. And these are things that we should all be incredibly proud of, particularly for an area that's long been seen as disadvantaged. And nothing is ever perfect, but this is an achievement that recognises all the work that the council officers have done, or the small businesses have contributed to, and of course local residents as well. And on the topic of Noble Park, it was great to see that new little library has been launched in Noble Park as well. Personally, as someone who loves libraries, who sees it as an incredibly vital asset to our local community, innovative ways to get people more involved in books and in learning, something that should also be celebrated. And I would encourage all residents to make full use of such facilities.
Thank you, Councillor Dan. For my reports, I'll start with my the events I attended to since my last council meeting. On the 14th of September, I attended the Cambodian Ancestors Celebration, which is hosted by the Cambodian Association of Victoria. 15th of September, meeting with Mahmoud Moumassa. He's the president of the African Communities of Council Victoria. Also want to connect with Greater Dandenong. They also involved with different councils as well, with Casey and other areas, just regarding to all the youth and connect with the business owners around our area. 17th of September, I attended the Father's Day launch celebration, which is hosted by the Vietnamese Australian Seniors Association of Victoria Inc. And in the evening, we had the citizenship ceremony in celebration of the Citizenship Day, and welcome to our 70 newest citizens to the city of Greater Dandenong. 29th of September, I attended the National Police Remembrance Day, end of day reflection of service. 2nd of October, I attended the Cambodian Kids Can Charity Gala Dinner. So it's a fundraising to help the Cambodian women that up to 18 years old, especially sponsor them with high school and uni as well. I think they have 18 kids they help at a time, which is great to see. All those unfortunate kids, especially female, can have education. On the 4th of October, I attended the Moon Festival and Chinese National Day celebration hosted by the Cambodian Chinese Friendship Association of Victoria. And I also attended the Rotary Club of Greater Dandenong and Endeavour Hills, their 90th anniversary of service to the community. The 5th of October, the opening ceremony of the 2025 Sandbag Children Lantern Festival. Great to see a lot of children there to celebrate the Lantern Festival. The 7th of October, I attended the Saba Local Traders Award. So the first time they're having their Local Trades Award, and the launch of the 2026 Lunar New Year Festival, so the Year of the Horse next year. On the 9th of October, I also attended the 2025 Mid-Autumn Festival and Multicultural Song and Dance Gala hosted by the Xinjiang Chinese Association of Victoria of Australia. And in the evening, I attended the MAV conference dinner, and also just want to congratulate our mayor, he's not here today, for his 20 years service as a councillor. And 11th of October, I attended the Fiji Day Multicultural Festival celebrating the 55th years of Independence Day. So congratulations to all the Fiji's communities. And on the 12th of October, I attended the Double 10 Day celebration, so dinner hosted by the Chinese Community Society of Victoria and Springvale Chinese Ethnic School. And today, this morning, it's my honour to officially launch the Springvale Heart Safe Community Initiative, led by the Amberlin Victoria and the Heart Foundations. That's all my report. Ms. Barrow, do we have any question taking on notice from the councillor?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I've got here.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to item, thank you so much. Item 7, urgent business. Yes, Councillor Garrett, so yes, you can't speak to the motion yet until you move and second it first, so please move your motion.
Yeah, happy to second.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor, I would like to speak to the why this matter is urgent. Are you okay if I speak purely to the urgency?
Yep.
Thank you. I believe this item must be heard tonight because there is a degree of urgency that this item, which is a concerning one, may impact the operations of the council and subsequently may impact the services to the community. So it is very important that we speak about this tonight. Concerns have been raised, and people will know because this has been in the local paper and on other media sources. So very broadly, there has been anonymous claims made regarding issues such as staff wellbeing, equity, organisational culture, and these impinge on the council's day-to-day functioning. As councillors, we are required under the Act to ensure good governance, and there are multiple sections of the Act that compel us to not only act, but to act quickly and to be seen to act quickly. So once serious allegations, at this stage they are allegations, are raised, we are required to act in a timely manner to put in train a process whereby we can get to the accuracy or not of these allegations. We also know that when allegations of this very serious nature are raised, it creates a great deal of uncertainty among the staff and a great deal of stress and creates an environment of tension And it is, we are required to, as much as possible, try to reduce that level of tension by acting quickly. We are also required to maintain public confidence. And when there are allegations, such as the very serious nature of these allegations, it is we are required to make sure that the public understand we are cognizant of these issues, we are aware of these issues, and that we are willing to put a process in train very quickly to get to the veracity of these claims. It is very possible there are no truth and no veracity to these claims, which is also a very good outcome. We need to make sure, as quasi-directors of the council, it is important that we make sure that we act in a timely and an appropriate manner. That is why I urge my councillors tonight to vote for this matter to be heard. So this vote is just to hear this motion. So I urge that we at least hear the motion and make up your own mind on how to vote. So I leave you with, just implore you to act in the interests not only of the council and the councillors, but also perceptions among the community that we are acting in a Seconder. Bob.
Sorry, Councillor Ray, any question?
Yeah, question. Thank you, Chair. Just a question to the mover. Given we're talking about the urgency of the potential substantive motion, can the mover explain any of the items or suggestions or elements of what she's just said that could not be done without a notice of motion? So in other words, do we need a notice of motion to do a lot of the things that the mover is talking about, number one? And number two, if there are any of those items that do require a notice of motion, why can't that be dealt with in the normal course of business at the next council meeting? So why is any element of what the mover has spoken about that urgent that it has to be resolved at this council meeting?
Thank you for that question, Councillor O'Reilly. So I would respond with 3 points. The first pointing to the fact that the very serious nature of these allegations does create tension among staff, and some staff may feel that they are being under a spotlight and maybe the pressure on them that people looking for who may have made these allegations and cause a great deal of stress. So we are required to ensure a safe workplace as much as possible, you know, through supporting the CEO. So it's very important that we act quickly. Secondly, it's important that we act quickly and not wait a fortnight, because these allegations are out in the public. The public are aware of them, and therefore it's important that we do not wait a long period of time until we start to initiate action. Why this has to be a notice of motion? A notice of motion is in a very effective way that we are able to quickly action an item in the interests of our community. And I would also say that it's important that we talk publicly about this, and that we are not talking behind closed doors. This is a public forum. The public can see that we are aware of this, that we are willing to act quickly, we are willing to act appropriately. It's very, very important that these things are not allowed to fester and prolong and be ignored. As I say, none of these allegations may be correct, and if we deal with this in a timely manner, that will decrease the level of stress and anxiety within the organisation very quickly. Were some or any of these allegations correct, we can take quick action through the CEO to address these issues, and therefore, again, we are making a safer and a less tense environment for our staff. And so it's very critical this is heard now, that it is dealt with now. And also, the council meeting is where we make decisions. We are not allowed to make decisions in any other forum other than a public council meeting. So for all those reasons, that is why I have brought this motion here tonight, and why I really urge my councillors to act in the interests of all of our stakeholders here and simply allow this motion to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Garrett. Any other questions? Any opposition? Councillor O'Reilly. I think there's no debate. It's urgent, yes, urgent business, there's no debate, so we're going to go to a vote. All right, so who's in favour? Put your hand up, raise your hand. Councillor Garrett, Councillor Milkovich, and Councillor Doe. Who's against? Councillor Dan, Councillor Tan, Councillor O'Reilly, Councillor Lay, Councillor Trung. So that is 3-5, so the motion lost. Item 8, close of business. I declare the meeting closed at 8:20. Good evening, everyone. Thanks.